Just ahead on this special edition of the Newsfeed, we revisit some of our top news stories this year, such as an update on the project to reconfigure Exit 150 off Interstate 81.
Plus, after opening its doors a year ago, how has the public received the Moss Arts Center at Virginia Tech? How did the managers think the center fared so far? We'll find out.
And we'll look at how construction is progressing on Tech's indoor football practice facility. Those stories and a lot more coming up next.
Hi, I'm Chrissy.
And I'm Rachel Franks. Thanks for joining us for this special edition of the Newsfeed. For the next half hour, we'll look back and update you on major stories we brought you over the past several months this year.
And later in the show, a glimpse into the future. We will explore stories that are likely to be major headlines in 2015. But first, we start with the first half of the show, the year in review. Our first story is an update about much-needed changes to a stretch of Interstate 81. A new interchange in Botetourt County is set to begin construction this spring as improvements along the I-81 corridor begin to shape up. News forwarder Carter Malpass has more.
Trucks, and even more trucks. These large vehicles are a common sight at Exit 150 along Interstate 81. The interchange serves as an intersection for I-81 and Route 220, two heavily traveled truck routes. For years, the interchange has been occupied by a variety of truck stops, gas stations, fast food restaurants, and greasy spoons to take advantage of the high volume of commercial traffic.
Anybody who uses Exit 150 knows that there are congestion issues around the ramps, particularly with accessing the truck stop and the pilot station. During peak travel times with accessing some of those businesses, it creates traffic congestion around the interchange.
The Virginia Department of Transportation hopes a nearly $50 million reconstruction of the interchange will alleviate congestion and will make the area safer. The project has been in development since the 1990s.
It is currently fully funded in our 6-year improvement program, and it has been designed, and we are moving toward the contractors being able to bid on the work for it to start sometime next year.
The new interchange will incorporate two new features for the area: a roundabout that aims to maintain a constant traffic flow with Route 11 and the northbound off-ramp from I-81 to Route 11, and a new road dubbed Gateway Crossing, which will connect the roundabout with Route 220 alternate. As part of right-of-way acquisition, the Travel Centers of America truck stop on Route 11 closed last month and will be acquired by the state through eminent domain. Owners say the closure resulted in the loss of about 66 jobs.
The truck stop was acquired to accommodate that new ramp being built. It was not purchased just to alleviate traffic congestion. VDOT can't simply purchase property, use eminent domain to alleviate traffic congestion. It has to be a part of a road project.
Construction is expected to be completed in 3 stages with an estimated completion date of fall 2017. Reporting for the Newsfeed, this is Carter Malpass.
VDOT is also in process of completing an environmental impact statement between exits 150 and 118 along I-81 with hopes of planning future widening and safety improvement projects.
With New River Valley's new IMAX Theater is another story that has made headlines this year. Construction of the Frank's Theater's Cinnabon and Grill in Blacksburg, which will include an IMAX theater, is on track to open early next year. Reporter Josh Gonzalez joins us from the newsroom with more. Josh?
Thanks, Rachel. Construction of the theater began in March of this year. And according to Stuart Perry, the general contractors for the construction of the theater, everything is on track for it to open in February 2015. In the last few months, the outside of the facility has taken form. Electric and plumbing have also been installed inside the building. Recently, Stuart Perry is working on laying out the theater's parking area and finishing up the interior.
IMAX guy was here yesterday looking at the IMAX because now they'll come in once we get our part done. They have to come in, do their screens, their audio, all that.
The inside of the building is making progress with the layouts of the bowling alley and bar and grill taking form. Once the construction is finished, Frank's Theaters will finish up the theaters and bar, and Brunswick will finish the bowling alley. The new IMAX will provide moviegoers in New River Valley with an exciting new experience when it opens early next year. Back to you guys at the news desk.
Thanks, Josh. It has been just over a year since the State of the Arts Moss Center for the Arts officially opened and the community could enjoy it.
In this next report, Cameron Austin takes a look back at the center's first year.
It took 3 years to build, but now the Moss Art Center is a staple on Virginia Tech's campus. After its first full year of programming, the center has shown to be an integral part of bringing art to a school that is normally known for science and engineering.
You know, we're so fortunate here that has been so much vision around the arts and its importance to the institution, its importance to our students and the community. It's kind of all three of those aspects. And we're continuing to build that arts presence through what we call Arts at Virginia Tech.
In coming weeks and months, the Art Center is looking forward to expanding the type and variety of events they have hosted here. For example, in early February, the Virginia Tech Wrestling Squad will host 3 matches inside the Performance Theater here in the Center for the Arts. Walks is also happy to see so many students use the facilities available. She also says students come out in large numbers to see performances.
That students are about between 20 and 25% of kind of in the total. Some programs have even more students, which is really wonderful. And that's something that we're really kind of focusing on this year as well.
This is Cameron Austin reporting for the newsfeed.
The Moss Center is looking forward to expanding their horizons in 2015. After a short holiday break, the center will pick up their regularly scheduled programming on January 25th.
At Virginia Tech, for quite some time, students sharing their opinions has been an important part of keeping the campus functioning. Reporter Rebecca Bullis joins us with an update on how efforts this year to include students in improving Virginia Tech has worked out. Rebecca?
To better understand student concerns and criticisms, Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Patty Perillo, began hosting student forums. These student forums are set up to help students to come in and have an open dialogue about issues they are concerned about or aspects of student life they would like to change. One major issue that was brought up during previous forums was the need for more study spaces available during exam times for students. As a result, the Division of Student Affairs has created an increase in study spaces around campus with extended hours during exams. Dr. Perillo says she wanted to create an open environment where students would feel comfortable sharing their opinions.
I wanted an opportunity to just create an open space for any students that might not be involved or engaged, to have an opportunity to meet with the Vice President, to talk about what's on their minds, what's in their hearts, what's happening. And so we started these forums 2.5 years ago.
With attendance not where she would like it to be, Dr. Perillo is trying to figure out new ways to attract students to these forums. In future semesters, Perillo said she would like to try to make the forums in a more open setting, such as a dining or residence hall. The student forums are conducted on the first Wednesday of each month during the semester and normally take place in Squire Student Center. For more information about the forums or other Division of Student Affairs events, visit their website at dsa.vt.edu. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Rebecca. In sports news, the Virginia Tech football team just wrapped up their regular season.
Reporter Amber Lee has a recap on how the Hokies performed.
The football team had a bit of a roller coaster season. The Hokies started the season on a high note, beating William & Mary 34-9. Then, in the next game, they traveled to number 8 Ohio State and came away with a 35-21 victory. It was one of the biggest wins in Tech history. However, their winning streak didn't last long. They lost their next 2 home games to East Carolina and Georgia Tech. They regained momentum and won their next 2 games, but then struggled against ACC opponents and dropped 3 straight games. The Hokies were able to pull it together to beat another ranked team, number 19 Duke in Durham, but then suffered an embarrassing 6-3 overtime loss against Wake Forest. In the last game of the season against rival Virginia, the Hokies had to win not only to keep the Commonwealth Cup, but also to keep the Bull streak alive. UVA kept it close, but Tech was able to come away with a 24-20 victory. Although the Hokies did keep their bowl eligibility, fans like Olivia Parker were disappointed with the team's performance.
Like when it came time to really win the bigger games, they weren't really able to do that. And I think that Ohio State was just a blessing from God. It wasn't really earned well.
Even though the team faced criticism, wide receiver Willie Byrne is still proud of how the Hokies finished the regular season.
I mean, you hear it a lot, and this team has gone through so much adversity the whole year, but you can't explain how proud I am to be a part of this team, how we battled back offensively and defensively.
After the Hokies' lackluster season, the Virginia Tech football team is now mentally and physically preparing for their bowl game. For the Newsfeed, I'm Amber Lee.
The Hokies were selected to play in the Military Bowl against Cincinnati on December 27th. There's more just ahead on this Newsfeed Year in Review.
Coming up, we'll revisit the construction site where Virginia Tech's new multi-million-dollar indoor practice facility and see how things are coming along.
And Newman Library has made strides with this year's major building updates. We'll take another look at the changes. Stay with us.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. God, no.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to this special edition of the Newsfeed. In this half hour, we're taking a look back at some of the top stories that made headlines this year. And later, we'll look ahead at stories likely to make headlines in 2015.
We continue with a look at the year in review. After months of construction, Virginia Tech's new indoor practice facility is close to completion. Located directly behind the Hahn Hurst Basketball Practice Center, the full-body framework of the indoor facility is now visible for everyone to see. News reporter Sarah Sweden gives us a look at how the new facility is coming together.
Just 2 months ago, Virginia Tech's indoor practice facility was in its early stages of development. Since then, a lot of work has been put in on an everyday basis in effort to complete the project by spring of 2015. As time grows near, the full construct of the new $19 million facility is becoming more and more visible. And even though we're in the midst of holiday season, the amount of work being conducted has only increased. It appears that the next focal point of construction are the pylon stones, which will be exact replicates of the 8 pylons located on the drill field. Senior Director of Development for Athletics, Lou Merritt, discusses the stone in depth.
From the building, the 8 pylons that are going to be on the front are each going to carry one of the university's core values. We're using those as naming opportunities to help us raise money. And each pylon is going to carry a value of $100,000. We've got 2 of them named already.
Aside from the logistics and the history, the new indoor practice facility will be essential to the football team. Virginia Tech wide receiver Willie Byrne gives his thoughts on the facility.
The new indoor practice facility is going to be awesome, and I'm so upset that I'm not going to be there to check it out.
Although this is Willie's senior year, he understands how important this is for the program.
It's just going to be so incredibly convenient, and it's going to be, they're going to love it. If they don't already realize it now, the younger guys are going to really like it.
The indoor practice facility has made a lot of progress over the past couple months and will be ready to use shortly.
That was Newsfeed reporter Sarah Sweden reporting. The final project is set to be finished and ready to use by August 2015.
With an original expected date of completion this past summer, the North Main Street and 460 intersection completion is still being pushed back. The Newsfeed reported on this progress earlier in November, but the only major changes since have been in the deadline and a few temporary developments. The contractor in charge continues to push back the deadline due to weather concerns, along with putting other projects of higher safety concern in front.
Throughout the region. These include intersection improvements like signals, other flashing beacons. So this contractor does have other projects that they do work on, but this one certainly is a priority for us as we're working with our contractor to expedite the work, and we hope to have it, with the weather delaying us so far, to hope to have it done sometime in the next few weeks.
There have been a reported 41 crashes at the intersection between 2008 and 2011, which have resulted in 4 deaths. Some temporary improvements are expected to occur sometime in December. Flashing warning signs will be installed at the intersection. These signs are used to alert oncoming drivers of turning vehicles when using this intersection. VDOT advises using extreme caution. In other news, this fall, in an effort to unite the Hokie community, a local police department kicked off a new initiative. Newsfeed reporter Megan Amron updates on No Hokie Left Behind since it was launched.
This semester, the Blacksburg Police Department looked to cut down on predatory crime by funding a new preventative campaign. No Hokie Left Behind, a program formed in partnership with Greek organizations on campus, looks to combat sexual and civil crimes by encouraging Tech students to stick together. Tomek Sefcik, president of Virginia Tech's Interfraternity Council, is one of the student liaisons that the police reached out to spread awareness.
We want every single student here to, help and be a good Samaritan for any of their friends or anybody that they don't even know within this community. Any problem that arises, that we want people to help them out or, essentially not leave anybody behind.
Sefcik believes that through No Hokie Left Behind's social media and wristband campaigns, they have made a positive influence in community awareness.
We ended up having alumni contacting us wanting the wristbands that all the students were wearing, and we had students, one of the parts of the program is, or the image actually displays, two Hokies wearing the wristbands, fist bumping each other because they're not going to leave each other behind. So we actually had people fist bumping, uploading images to the website or to the Facebook page, and it was really neat because we just had a very positive reception for the program.
No Hokie Left Behind had a Blacksburg Police-funded float in this year's holiday parade and will look forward to becoming an official student club in the following year. For the Newsfeed, I'm Megan Amron.
To learn more about No Hokie Left Behind, visit their Facebook page.
In other news this year, we learned about the EDM Club, which is a club for students who enjoy electronic dance music. The EDM Club at Virginia Tech, also known as Hokie EDM, ran into some trouble this semester when it came to hosting its weekly events, BOTS. On Tuesdays, the event had to be put on hiatus due to problems for funding for the show. Rizia Lima, vice president of Hokie EDM, said they had to pay for all of the production and lighting on their own. Since they don't get paid to perform, they had to take a break for a little bit to figure out ways to cover expenses. BOTS founder and Virginia Tech alumni Sam Wolf helped set up a BOTS one-year anniversary show at Sycamore Deli this past Saturday. Wolf said attendees were allowed to entry with a $2 donation. The proceeds will go to Hokie EDM to fund future shows, lighting, production, and music. Wolf said he hopes that Hokie EDM can demonstrate the demand for electronic dance music in the Blacksburg community.
It's going to be the most crowded we've ever had, best attendance. It's going to be the best production we've ever had, right behind me. It's going to be the loudest we've ever had. So take those things, put them together, and it's the one-year anniversary. It's going to be a party that Blacksburg has been asking for a long time.
Hokie EDM has not announced yet if BOTS will be returning to Sycamore Deli next semester. Wolf said he hopes that BOTS will be able to continue next year and to eventually become more widely known so that students will come out and get the chance to DJ in front of a crowd. From new buildings to renovating old ones, Virginia Tech is constantly updating the campus to make it better for current students as well as more desirable for future ones. This semester, Newman Library finally started getting the update it deserves. Newsfeed reporter Brittany Grant has more on this story.
So the outside of Newman Library looks the same. On the inside, things are changing. From more TVs and new furniture, Virginia Tech is trying to make the library more modern and more enjoyable for students to come in. They're also hosting more events throughout the semester to get students more involved. Community Outreach Specialist Scott Fralin tells us more.
I'd say during this fall semester we probably hosted 50 different events, fun and academic, and most of them turned out really well. It was a good, productive semester.
Although many events have been successful, not every event brought out as many students as Fralin would have liked. Events such as the karaoke night and video game night lack student attendance. Fralin says in the future they'll stray away from those and do repeats of more popular nights. Over the course of the semester, the inside of the library started to get a facelift to make it appeal more to students. Facilities crew member Max Osa tells us about the changes.
We've put in new floors, put in new lights. We've actually put in a bank of TVs. We still have a lot of furniture coming in, kind of make it a little more modern. That's really what a lot of our renovations are focusing on right now, is updating our library's furniture and the comfort for the students, and really trying to provide a lot more table space and power, which are our two big needs as a library.
Even though a lot has changed over the past semester, Osa says that there is still more to come. Reporting for the Newsfeed, I'm Brittany Grant.
For more about what's happening at Newman Library now and in the future, visit lib.vt.edu/events. That'll wrap up this first half of the Newsfeed's Year in Review special.
Stick around because up next, a look ahead to 2015. Newsfeed anchors Samantha Eastman and Curry Purvis are standing by to tell us more. Sam and Curry?
That's right, Rachel. As we all prepare to say goodbye to 2014 and transition to a new year, what do we have to look forward to?
Well, in the next half of our show, we'll show you. Stay with us. Sam and I will return with the newsfeed the year ahead after this short break.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov.
Just ahead on this special edition of the Newsfeed, we look ahead to 2015 at some stories that will make headlines, such as Virginia Tech's new president and his plans for the university.
Plus, business startups are booming around the country. We'll see how this trend is exploding in Blacksburg and what we can expect in the years ahead.
And since construction began in 2013 on the Upper Quad on Tech's campus, how are things progressing nearly 2 years later? What will we see in 2015? We'll tell you. Those stories and more coming up next.
Hi, I'm Samantha Eastman.
And I'm Corey Purvis. Welcome back to the second half of this special edition of the Newsfeed. Earlier, we gave you a look back and updates on major stories we brought you over the past several months this year.
And now we will explore stories that are likely to be major headlines in 2015. In our first story, it has been a couple months since Timothy Sands was officially installed as the 16th president of Virginia Tech.
President Sands has made some significant differences to the campus and plans on bringing sustainable changes in the year ahead. Newsfeed reporter Chris E. tells us more.
On the campus of Virginia Tech, students, faculty, and locals look forward to what University President Timothy Sands has in store for next year. Sands, who was recently installed in October of this year, made some changes to the campus, such as improving constructional integrity of facilities and efforts to reducing carbon footprint on campus. It's been noted that the 16th president of Virginia Tech has a strong social media presence, being very active to the Hokie community on his Instagram and Twitter account. Robert Denton, the head of the communication department at Virginia Tech, recently met with President Sands and learned about current and future developments to campus.
He really does care about undergraduates. You're going to see a refocus in terms of undergraduate education. He's highly involved with the new general ed requirement. He's all over campus in terms of eating in and out with students.
So far, there has been a majority of positive criticism for Sands. Jacob Vernon, who is currently on the Board of Visitors Student Advisor Committee, also thinks that Sands can make a significant impact within the next year.
He's going to try to work towards, making the campus more diverse. He's more of a people person, I think. He's talked to all the students and stuff. He's got to know them better and stuff. So I think he's got a good grip on what the students want.
Be on the lookout for some big changes in the future at Virginia Tech, as President Sands strives to make it the best university he can. This has been Christopher E. reporting.
For more information about what President Sands has in store for Virginia Tech, visit www.president.vt.edu. Virginia Tech's Diversity and Inclusion Department has undergone some serious changes in the past few months and is looking at many more to come.
Reporter Annalise Diaz tells us more about what's ahead for the department.
While it's been several months of effort, there is still a lot of movement and progress that needs to be made to the Inclusion and Diversity Office. At the end of President Steger's term, a task force on inclusion excellence was formed to support the university's vision and framework for inclusive and diversity. President Sands finalized this process by taking the department away from being its own jurisdiction and putting it directly underneath the president's office. Marcy Snitzer tells us more about this change.
It's a structural change, and we have heard from faculty of color, underrepresented students, certainly at the marches that have been held this week, that they are not sure how they're connected to Inclusive ET.
Current faculty and staff will serve on the President's Inclusion and Diversity Council. The new organizational structure was recommended by the original task force. David Travis tells us more about the next path.
I think we're on track, and we now have a tremendous opportunity to make some major changes at the university, especially as it relates to the broad picture of inclusion.
President Sands has announced that on December 10th, from 5 to 6:30 p.m. in the Commonwealth Ballroom, there will be a discussion to talk about inclusion and diversity around Virginia Tech. Reporting for the Newsfeed, I'm Naili Ciaz.
The President's Office encourages students, faculty, and staff to take part in the open conversations on diversity and inclusion at Virginia Tech. For more information, visit diversity.vt.edu.
Looking ahead at business news, for most, Blacksburg is a quintessential college town. But renewed efforts by student organizations, the university, and local businesses are starting to change that reputation. The engineering school at Tech is home to more than just a well-regarded program. It's also home to a growing segment of entrepreneurs starting businesses, or startups as they're more commonly known. A wide variety of shared working spaces like News Park, Hacksburg, and TechPad are the core of an initiative to empower Blacksburg entrepreneurs. Carl Bidekoffer, a member of Hacksburg, tells us more.
Blacksburg has a lot of interesting things going on in it. So there's TechPad and NewsPark and Hacksburg. The Tuxedo Pandas are right here, as well as a few other startups, the Roanoke Blacksburg Technology Council. All of those organizations are basically there to kind of fuel that startup and technology scene.
It's not yet on the scale of Silicon Valley, but Blacksburg looks more and more like a desirable place for startups. With continued support from the university and local initiatives, the future is bright for tech in the town of Blacksburg. The Newsfeed's Year Ahead special continues after a short break.
Just ahead, the repurposing of the Upper Quad on Tech's campus has been in the works for a while. We'll tell you what to expect in the coming year with the completion of phased construction.
And preparations have already begun for the next Relay for Life event next year. We'll see how Hokies are working to continue to lead the fight for a world with less cancer. Stay with us.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up? Oh, we finally bought a place. Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Is
it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Welcome back to this special edition of the Newsfeed as we look ahead at stories we think will make headlines in 2015.
As 2014 is said to be the hottest year on record, the United Nations decided to meet in Lima, Peru last week to make plans to combat climate change in 2015. Local student groups at Virginia Tech are using this as a way to increase awareness of our warming planet. Student groups like Virginia Tech Greenpeace and the Environmental Coalition have been working to keep the school green by encouraging the use of reusable containers and recycling rather than disposing. Just this past year, the groups have helped add solar-powered trash cans to campus that decrease the amount of trash pickups and therefore fossil fuels. With climate change a hot topic on the global stage, they feel this is an ideal time to advertise their cause.
More groups that sign on to combating climate change, it just makes Virginia Tech look worse if we don't do anything. So I guess it's just added incentive for us to actually keep pace and actually invent the future.
After 2 years of petitioning, the groups have helped implement the use of biodegradable to-go containers that will be available in dining halls next semester. Utilizing bike lanes and public transportation are other good ways to combat climate change. Currently, the group has a petition going to divest fossil fuel use on campus. Virginia Tech is known for having the world's largest collegiate Relay for Life, but hosting such an event takes months of planning. What are committee members doing to get ready for the big event next year? Newsfeed reporter Mary Lubag tells us.
The annual Relay for Life has become a staple event on Virginia Tech's campus. The all-night walkathon is the finale for year-long fundraising events for the American Cancer Society. In the coming months, volunteers will work to attract participants and raise money leading up to the culminating event in April. This includes several week-long events such as the 7 Days of Relay, which included a marketing blitz around campus and karaoke night, and a new week geared toward the Virginia Tech motto, That I May Serve. Relay Marketing Committee member Kelly Ologist talks about this new endeavor.
We're doing something that's new this year. We're doing an Eat Prosim Week, and that's actually going to be in conjunction with the big event. And what it is just to get all Hokies involved, Greeks, non-Greeks, anything along that sort, and really just keep focusing on fundraising. I'm fairly certain that we're going to make our goal of over $600,000 and really get more than 6,000 students to sign up and participate in Relay for Life, so that'll be really exciting.
With thousands of student participants, Relay has a special place in the hearts of students. Relay's Director of Logistics, Amy Skolnick, reflects on why she believes Relay is important.
I think it's important to a lot of people, just because cancer is such a huge issue, and a lot of people can say that they know somebody with it, unfortunately. So I think Virginia Tech is so important here because we do so well. Fundraising, we're the top fundraising in the nation, in the world actually, and we also have the most participants.
The event is estimated to raise about $600,000 with 6,000 participants, but the executive board believes that the marketing and fundraising in the coming months will help to exceed those expectations. Relay is held on Friday, April 24th, right here on the drill field. For the news feed, this is Mary Lubag reporting.
You can register for Relay for Life at relayforlife.org.
One thing that will not change in the coming year is construction on Virginia Tech's campus. The construction of a new academic building on Perry Street started recently, and it will continue to affect traffic and parking in the year ahead. Construction began on November 8th on Perry Street, which removed 300 parking spots from students and faculty. In addition, Perry Street is not accessible from West Campus Drive. The construction on the new classroom building is part of a project to revamp the north entrance to campus. Many changes are coming in the next 12 months.
In March, you'll see more work related to relocating Perry Street. So once the weather gets a little bit better, we'll begin to shift. We're basically going to move Perry Street north about 60 feet. And so the function of the road will remain the same. We'll still be installing a light and the crosswalks just the way it was when we closed it down in November. And that should be opened up, I would say, by May or early June of next year.
The new academic building will be rebuilt in this region, and Perry Street will be realigned 60 feet north. The academic building will have room for more than 1,400 students upon its completion in 2016. Construction at the Upper Quad has been ongoing since fall 2013. The first phase of the project is set to finish in 2015. Newsfeed reporter Priscilla Alvarez tells us more.
The project is split into 3 phases, 2 of which include demolition and reconstruction of residence halls. Sidewalks surrounding the space have been closed off for safety concerns. With a budget of $90 million, the expectations are high for what changes in the Upper Quad can do for the aesthetics of the campus and the core of cadets.
Well, the expectation is that the RMTC has 2 brand new dorms that are modern and up to date that improves their ability to recruit and basically just improves their environment.
Behind me is Rash Hall. It is the first phase to be completed of the 3 phases of the project. It is set to be completed July 31st, 2015, and will be ready for move-in fall 2015 for the Corps of Cadets. Rash Hall is expected to house 1,000 students. Once cadets move into the building, construction will begin for Brody Hall. Brody Hall has a projected end date of July 2016. In the meantime, the Corps of Cadets have been split between residence halls in the Upper Quad and on the residential side of campus, such as Main Eggleston and West Eggleston. Cadet Tanny Stevens has enjoyed the amenities that come with living closer to dining halls on the residential side of campus, but is looking forward to the renovated Upper Quad.
In regards to the legacy, I think it will provide a stronger group cohesion in a sense. It's going to provide kind of like a better history to say like, hey, we all lived in one dorm compared to being split up between West Egg and Upper Quad.
The demolition of Monteith and Thomas Halls is the 3rd and final phase in the project. Different from their counterparts, they will not have a new building surface. This is Priscilla Alvarez reporting.
The Upper Quad project as a whole is expected to be completed by 2018.
Looking ahead at sports, the Virginia Tech men's basketball team is about 1/3 of the way through their season. They currently are sitting at 4-4 with only 4 more games until starting ACC play. The Hokies have a tough conference schedule this year that includes playing at number 7 Virginia, at number 5 Louisville, at number 12 North Carolina, at number 15 Miami, and hosting number 2 Duke. While the players are focusing on their next game, they still have their ACC rivals in the back of their mind. Freshman Ahmed Hill says he makes sure to keep up with how the rest of the conference is doing.
Yes, I got sports to go on my phone and keep me updated with all the other teams. And, see what teams are, winning good games and stuff like that.
The new head coach and 5 freshmen, the preseason polls have Tech finishing last place in the ACC. However, the Hokies have a chance of beating out Wake Forest and Florida State, who have not looked too strong this season. One story that always makes major headlines is the Super Bowl. Since the NFL is still in regular season, we decided to ask Virginia Tech students who they predicted would make it into the Super Bowl in 2015 and why.
The Broncos have a really good chance of going again. Peyton Manning's got plenty of experience. They got a good set of receivers.
The season has taken its toll on the Redskins. A lot of injuries have happened. I think the Indianapolis Colts are going to win the Super Bowl.
Probably the Packers, but you got to root for the Eagles because they haven't won one. And then from the AFC, the Patriots are looking the best.
I would pick the Seattle Seahawks because they were there last year, and they're finally starting to click, running all cylinders now.
I think the Patriots are going to be in the Super Bowl this year because they're one of the hottest teams right now, and Tom Brady has just come into his own.
This early in the game, it is difficult to tell who will make it there in 2015. The Super Bowl will be played at the University of Phoenix Stadium on February 1st, and Katy Perry has been announced as the halftime show. That will wrap up this special edition of the Newsfeed, the year in review and the year ahead.
The Newsfeed will be back in early 2015 to keep you up to date about what's going on with Virginia Tech and the New River Valley area. While we are on hiatus, if you have a story idea, send us an email at thenewsfeednrv@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us. I'm Samantha Eastman.
And I'm Corey Purvis. Happy holidays.